All right, man. So we got some shocking news going on here. So it appears that there is a surge going on now. We know Kamala Harris is surging pretty much everywhere in almost every single poll in almost every single state. But what's crazy is actually even in Republican pollsters polls, the ones that are kind of known now are RMG and Rasmussen are kind of the main conservative pollsters that are known. Like horribly biased polls, terrible. And even they are showing a massive surge in favor of Kamala Harris. So what we can see here is there's a new general election poll to head to head. It's Harris 49, Trump 49. The previous poll, though, was Trump plus 2. So there's been a swing of 2 points in Kamala Harris's favor. And this is an RMG poll. It's a C-rated pollster, 2404 likely voters, and it's fresh off the boat, fresh off the plate, fresh off the kitchen. We got 49, so there's a surge going on here. We also have this Rasmussen poll here. So there's this Rasmussen poll where Trump is actually leading in this poll. Obviously, it's hilarious. It's honestly comical how stupid of a poll this is to have Trump at 49% in the general election. Like, there's no way. I mean, he got like less than 47, I think, in 2016. And then even back in 2020, he didn't even get 47%. There's no way he's getting anywhere close to 49%. And I think Kamala's actually, her strongest point is probably going to be in the national vote, probably because you'll get like a bunch of stimming out of votes that don't really count, unfortunately, because they're not swing states. So the idea that Trump is at 49 and Harris is at 46 is honestly comical. But they have Trump plus 3 in this poll. There's 1893 likely voters, dated 821. Rasmussen, it's a C-rated pollster. By the way, Rasmussen is so bad that 538's aggregator doesn't actually include them anymore. That's how bad they were. I think they were trying to like cast doubt on the Kerry Lake election with some dumb survey like 2 months later or something. But we can actually see a trend here though. So again, our kind of numbers right now, we have like 70 plus days left till the election. So we want to look at is, okay, what are the trends going, right? Not necessarily super important of like, okay, what are the numbers? But we can see this here. This is a Rasmussen trend, right? So it's a 724 Trump plus 7, 731 a week later, Trump plus 5, 814 Trump plus 4, and then today Trump is plus 3. So this is the margin that you're seeing for Rasmussen. This is a Republican pollster's most biased possible pollster. It's so bad 538 doesn't even include them. But even here you can see a massive surge where it's been more than halved in just 1 month, basically. So the lead has been more than halved, and it's still a redonkulous poll where it's like 49 to 46 in the national vote. There's no way. Kamala's definitely going to get, I think, over 50% of the national vote, assuming there's not like a crazy third-party presence. But, or I guess the way that the third-party presence would impact the national vote, and that would be interesting to see. But she, in a head-to-head poll, right, but there's nobody, this is a head-to-head poll. There's no way that it'd be 49, 46. I mean, it's comical. But we can see the trend, right? We can just see the trend. It's here. We also have another national GE poll from RMG Research Rasmussen. So again, another one, right? Another Republican poll. So it comes out fresh off the boat, 819 to 22, 2404 likely voters. Harris is at 48%, Trump is at 46%, Kennedy at 3%. Now, Kennedy is going to be dropping out, so it kind of makes more sense for us to look at head-to-head polls now. Technically, he's suspending his campaign in swing states, but that'll probably end up benefiting him by anywhere from like 0.7 to 1 point possibly. But I think it probably won't be enough to cover the ground. But even in the Republican poll, you see that she's winning. So they can't even like rig the poll fully for this. They just have this one where Trump is winning in this Rasmussen poll. But even RMG is like, hey, they're tied, which is insane. So even conservative polls, the only polls left at this point that are saying that Trump is winning at this point is literally Twitter polls. And I made up something called Twitter's law. It says that whatever politician is winning a Twitter poll, the other person is actually winning in real life. So with Twitter's law, we can apply it and say, okay, well, the other Kamala's winning even the Twitter polls. There are also more polls where she's actually surging. So we also have this a D-rated poll, so pretty low. Redfield and Wilton is the full name. It's a new general election poll that dropped. 8/21 is this survey date. Harris at 47, Trump at 44. Harris is plus 3. The previous poll was Harris plus 1, so she surged 2 points forward. And what I think this says, though, is you see it's a 91 sum, so there's 9% still saying, like, hey, we're not really sure who we're going to vote for. Kamala still has a lot of ground to gain. Hopefully the DNC boosts or something. She's a good debater, and, Trump has not had good debate experience in the general. I know that Biden lost the debate, but Trump didn't win the debate. And Trump got washed in the Biden and Hillary debates, according to the polls. And Harris did well in her debate against Pence. So, and we know she had her moment against Biden. So I think there's still a lot to grow from here. And that's why this is super important. So she still has to be able to reach out to people, because this indicates there's a lot of people. And we know there's a lot of evidence of a lot of different groups, double haters, Hispanic voters, etc., who are still kind of out there. So she still has a lot of room for growth. And so I'd really expect there to be a lot of growth. But you can see more surging, right? This is not a Republican pollster, but we're still seeing surging, right? Surging. Another surge, you guys may or may not have seen this. There's a Texas poll that dropped. It's a YouGov poll, B-rated pollster. 1365 likely voters, dropping 816. It's a general election poll from Texas. It has Trump up 5 points on Harris. The previous poll versus Biden, Trump +9. So she's halved the lead against Biden, which is a massive surge. Again, we don't care so much about what the numbers themselves say now. I think the shift is more so what's important, because there's a lot of time left, and Harris still, I think, has a lot of potential political capital to gain and a lot of voters to be able to pull in her direction. So it's kind of more about like, okay, what's the surge going on? So having the lead is huge. I don't think Democrats will be able to flip Texas. I mean, you can let me know if you think they'll be able to, but Trump won it by 9 in 2016. He won it by 5.5 in 2020, and Gary Johnson got like 3 point something in 2016. So de facto, it's likely a larger lead because they probably would go to him. So what we see there with that situation is a huge increase, and I think Mitt Romney won it by way more. So there's an obvious blue trend. So I think it'll probably end up within 2 or 3 here. Biden sucked pretty bad in terms of with Hispanic voters. And I think he either tied or did like 2 less. I think he did 2 less than Hillary percent wise. Another big poll here. So Harris is at 53% +6 on Trump, who has 47%. This is an active vote poll. 1,000 likely voters, 823, super fresh off the presses. I should have said fresh off the presses. That's what I was looking for. My brain is not functioning. I'm like Joe Biden after 5 p.m. Sorry about that. Been live for a long time. But Harris at 53. So this would be pretty crazy. I'd actually be interested to see what you guys think she's going to get nationally. I feel like her national vote is going to be pretty massive. The thing is, it's not going to be a head-to-head because you'll have Stein in the race, but I think that should be it. But Cornell is off a lot of the ballots, but he probably would be on some of the ballots. Will she get up to something like 53? Biden got to 51.3, slightly underperforming. So will she be able to get to that number? I think if she's polling at higher than 50%, I think she'll be able to win for sure. We can also look at these national polls here. So she's hit a new peak on 538. She's up 3.7 points in the average. I think this averages out the threesome polls as well as the head-to-head numbers. And then so we can just see she hasn't lost a poll in like pretty much ages right now. This is the last poll that she lost. And that was like, 2 weeks ago or something. Or not 2 weeks ago, like 10 days ago. And there's so many polls here with her leading. So she's really like in the lead right now. And then if you look at double D's here, for the head-to-head nationally, Harris is up by 3.6. So you can see there's a divergence going on here since August 8th. It's just going in literally like pretty much opposite directions. Harris is growing and Trump is dying. So we can see that. And this actually includes the Rasmussen numbers too. So Rasmussen is not included in 538, but double D's does include them. You can just see, it's just a C basically. The only thing that stands out like a sore thumb here is Rasmussen. That's literally it pretty much, up until you get back to this point. So pretty crazy to see. She's doing really well in the polls, and she's still surging. So she's still able to gain right now, and she's still continuing. Her favorable numbers are getting better. Her unfavorables are dropping. So really crazy stuff. She's surging in the conservative polls. The only polls that Trump is winning at this point are literally just Twitter polls. It's insane.